Today's Sunshine Note is titled, Are You Dumber Than a Sheep? His sheep follow him because they know his voice, but they will never follow a stranger. In fact, they will run away from him because they do not recognize a stranger's voice. John chapter 10, verses 4 and 5. There was that feeling again, the sickening, sinking, foreboding feeling in the pit of my stomach like a churning knot. I felt it every time we drove by the house, the one we had just bought. The process took 30 days, and then the house would officially be ours. But until then we excitedly drove by each day. Recently, though, every time we did, I felt worse and worse about our decision. It became clear to me that something was terribly wrong. What worried me most was that I recognized the feeling. It was the same feeling I had in the past when God was trying to tell me that something wasn't right. It's almost like a still, small voice whispering in my ear. God has often spoken to me like this when I've asked Him to warn me if I'm making a bad decision. And here it was again. One night I told Greg how I'd been feeling, even though we were so jazzed about owning our first home. To my shock, Greg said that he'd been feeling the exact same way. So we stopped the deal, got out of the house, and were left to wonder, why did he warn us? Only 2 years later, the housing market virtually crashed and burned, and we had to move out at the same time. We would have owned a house that we would never have been able to sell. It would have ruined us financially for the next 10 years. God was right again. When Jesus compares himself to a shepherd, and us to sheep, one of the dumbest animals alive, by the way, he points out that sheep are familiar with their shepherd's voice. One of my seminary professors visited a shepherd one day and bet the shepherd that if he dressed up in the shepherd's cloak, used his shoes and staff, and went out to get the sheep, they would come to him. Certainly, they followed only the outfit. Sure enough, when the sheep saw the impostor coming, they eagerly ran to him. He was so pleased that he yelled out, "Come here, my sheep." Instantly, they turned and walked away. They knew it wasn't their shepherd's voice. The more we get to know Jesus, the more we will become familiar with his voice and the ways in which he leads us. Spending time with him will help us to really learn that voice. You can also ask yourself, how has he led me in the past? Chances are he'll speak to you in the same ways that he has spoken to you before. So take time today to get to know his voice. May God bless you today.